Have you ever lied awake at night worrying about how to pay your bills? Have you ever thought, what if I lose my home? What if my retirement doesn't last? What if I'm just too old to start over? These aren't random fears that I've made up. These are exact responses from people who responded to a survey that I put out. There are people anywhere between 40, 75, and even older who shared the things that kept them up at night. What do they worry about in life? They had stories about being unemployed, worrying about how to pay for medication, funerals, recovering from divorce. And the root of it is all one thing, a loss of income. I know this because I've been there. I've been fired from my job, driving Uber to make ends meet, and sitting in the car wondering, like, is this what life has expecting of me? But I found a way out. And in this video, I'm gonna show you how to face that loss of income fear and how content creation may be the solution that you're looking for. I'm 52 years old, and I was raised in that generation of people that led you to believe that stability equaled full-time job. And, was simply raised to think that there's just no other solution to life to make money than just having a steady income. That worry about losing income and this belief that a full-time job was the only solution led me to accept a job in late 2021 that I knew it wasn't a good fit for me. But with no other options lying around and having been employed and working at Whole Foods for like 8 months, it was the responsible dad thing to do. And it turned out that was the worst decision I had made in a long time. It was a job that didn't need my particular set of skills. They didn't need me to be creative like I could be. They simply wanted me to be part of an assembly line and just kind of do the same thing over and over. And that's not how I work. And there were mistakes and there were clashes, and I had the feeling that I was going to be let go. And I remember it was a few days after my birthday. We had just taken my family to see the Clue movie party. You kind of like say the lines with them. Oh, what line can I say? Clue. Mrs. Peacock was a man? It was one of those things where this meeting appears on my calendar with like no agenda, and sure enough, there was the HR person letting me know that it was my last day of employment with the company. And I remember a fear and a relief that I wouldn't have to go to that job anymore. And I felt okay because I'd been a video producer before, and I felt that I was going to be able to find something really quickly very soon. And then a year later, I was still unemployed. I could not get a job. I could not get an interview, had applied to, hundreds of jobs, and, did personal branding outreach and reaching out to people on LinkedIn to show I was creative, and was Ubering to barely pay the bills. And there were days just sitting in that car wondering, was this it? Like, this was what life was giving me? My talents were only here to serve people driving around. And I mean, the lowest moments were knowing that in that previous year, I had turned down the opportunity to, like, essentially my dream job of creating social media content for a theme park. And it was the worst situation I had personally ever been in terms of not only finances, but mental health, and how it affected my marriage and my kids and all of that loss of income stress that comes on. It's so, it's been years, but it's still, I don't like to talk about it. I don't like reliving that. Who would? I came to the realization that the relying on a full-time job for stability is just BS. And, due to a conflict with your boss, loss of revenue, your security is just gone. And I'd be forced to do something really difficult, which was, find my own way to generate income and do uncomfortable action, things that are difficult, but it's just like what you have to do because there is no other option. When you're at rock bottom, can't get any lower, there's really only one other way to go, which is up. In November of 2023, I saw an article, Your Mom Should Be Doing UGC, and this told me what UGC is, user-generated content, which is making videos for brands that they use on their social media pages or as ads that you see on Facebook and Instagram. This article said they needed people in their 50s, but I just really doubted that. Like, I had my doubts, but I couldn't get a job. Like, focusing on the 9-to-5 thing and the 9-to-5 thing only was ruining us financially. That was, in many ways, preventing us from getting income. So it was taking uncomfortable action, and it was making my own example videos to get out there that ultimately worked. And since doing that steadily, since then, I've been able to make $100,000 in revenue by doing UGC, by taking the unconventional route, the one that like nobody told me to take, is the thing that actually provided the income. The great thing about UGC is that it's not about followers or fame or going viral. It's simply about providing the opportunity for whatever you need: financial freedom to spend more time with your kids or your parents, the ability to work when and where you want. UGC doesn't have that viral fame thing attached to it. You can just make videos that provide income, that give you the opportunity to enjoy life on your terms, which is not something I really ever thought would happen when I was doing the 9-to-5 thing. So people shared things like, I'm unemployed, I'm scared of losing my home. I get it, I was there, but here's the shift for you to think about. Instead of relying on one paycheck from one employer, UGC gives you multiple opportunities to work with multiple brands for multiple streams of income. You can get $500 for a video for this brand, 3 videos for $750. There are just thousands of brands who want to work with older creators. It's that uncomfortable action of putting these videos together that helped me provide the income that I needed. Another person shared this: I'm burnt out, I don't have the energy to start something new. I felt that too after losing my job and starting to Uber. Just everything was so taxing. Driving, looking for jobs, spending the energy to go on and apply and be enthusiastic in video interviews, and to not get that. And my health took a big dip because I was spending so much time sitting in my car, just sitting around, not moving, that I was constantly feeling just drained out and felt that I had really nothing else to give. Just the mental stress of being ghosted and never hearing a response from applying to job just took such a toll. I just stopped applying to jobs because the stress of not hearing or getting I just wanted to avoid that. So if you don't apply to jobs, you don't get that, which is not the smartest way to handle that, I've learned. But it's just the entire process is so draining, and I just felt empty. And it wasn't until I started making my UGC example videos that I just got that spark of purpose and energy, and being able to write scripts and be in front of a camera. Just everything came back. I was so driven by purpose that I just doing something new after neglecting that for so long just gave me so much energy. And I really feel the energy that I put into those videos was what started getting me paid, and just rolling through that. Going from just having no energy to everything abundant, that was so uplifting and has what really carried me through to this point. Yes, there are days where I do feel it's going to end and I will end up back as a server inside a movie theater restaurant. I was terrible at that job too. I don't think that fear ever truly goes away. It is all going to disappear, but I've been able to do this for, it'll be close to 2 years. So I'm proof that it can work. And just having that mental energy back it's incredible. That's the best way I can say it. Somebody else wrote this: I'm scared of the tech, I didn't grow up with this stuff like my kids did. That's real. I felt that as well. Even with somebody with a background in video, I was intimidated to do UGC videos because it was a different format that I'd done. I made my living doing, this YouTube style horizontal videos and doing vertical videos for platforms that are just all about speed and fast and in your face was really intimidating from a professional video creator. My first videos were okay. It wasn't great on camera, some lighting was off, and there was fear. There was just abject fear about putting these out there and just wondering, is anybody going to pay me? Not worth thinking about, because I got jobs the first week I started putting my stuff out there. And that's the great thing about UGC, is it doesn't have to be perfect. It is all about authenticity. They're professional videos, but they need to feel raw, because that's what they hire people over 40 for, is that adult authenticity, so we can speak to things like menopause and prostate and all those fun things. We bring that energy, and it's not about being polished. It's about more being present. And I mean, that carries me through all the fears of trying to compete on this short form platform. I tell you, I don't think I was the greatest person on camera when I started, but it was about doing it constantly. For every other day, I would speak to my phone and just get that practice in there. And that is the most important thing that you can do is practice editing, practice being on camera, practice making videos. The more you do, the more comfortable it becomes. And now it's almost second nature. And if I can speak on camera to you, there's nothing stopping you from being that. You're probably way better looking than I am. You may still have hair. So it's that, it sounds cliche, but uncomfortable action led to income. Sometimes it's not that complicated. And the biggest one, I think that a lot of you may have, I feel like I'm too old to start over. I mean, that hit me in being a 49-year-old trying to make content for this platform for the young kids. And coming from having applied to so many jobs and just thinking that I had no value. Like, I had absolutely no value to any of these companies that I applied for. And then suddenly going into UGC, and I was just in demand and welcomed and appreciated and valued. Like, that's the biggest thing for UGC for me, is just feeling valued and worthy. That's not the best word, but I think it's valued. I mean, if you've ever been in a job where you just felt underappreciated for your age or your skills, I feel embraced. I really was starting over when I started being a UGC creator, and in leaving behind the 9-to-5 and what I know, and stepping into this small creator business lifestyle. It's so possible, and you may not be able to do it unless you step into being uncomfortable, but you're not too old to start over. And whatever situation you're in, making content, making that additional income that you want, can just get you on the path that you want to live. You deserve to live. So all the things that people that mentioned when they filled out the survey: unemployment, divorce, losing the house, not having purpose, it still comes down to loss of income. I was carrying that weight, you're carrying that weight around, but this is where UGC becomes the solution, and very, very powerful. If you've lost a job, UGC is a way for you to start earning. If burnout drained you, UGC lets you work on your schedule, not when your boss says you need to be working. If tech scares you, I can help you through my coaching program to tackle these really easy to use systems that will keep you going and show you that, yeah, you can learn this tech. And if you feel old, there's a place for you in UGC, because there are so many brands looking for people our age who look like the customers they want to reach, that can be relatable for all the things we go through. prostate, ED, like all the things. It's that rare, it's that weird thing where your flaws, like your gray hair, you can get paid to cover your gray hair. It's strange when you think about it like that, but yeah. I've lived this. I've went from fired, broke, driving Uber to running a 6-figure UGC creator business with household brands that you've heard of. And I'm not the only one. My students have changed their lives as well. We have got Phil and Dee Dee who are working their full-time jobs but generating thousands on the side doing UGC. Veronica has turned her love of travel into collabs. Like seriously, she's everywhere. Like she won't stop traveling. And Chris, who's a dad with a daughter at home, just took to UGC and is simply just crushing it. All of them stepped into that discomfort. There was nobody coming to save them, so they decided to take that uncomfortable action of learning how to be a creator, and it's so cool to see them being successful in accomplishing that. You're not too late. You're not too old. You're not stuck. You may have lost income, but you haven't lost the ability to generate income. Nobody is coming to save you. You need to take uncomfortable action, and that's where UGC can help. So watch this video to learn how to make anywhere between $3 to $5K per month as an older UGC creator.